I'm gonna go to Cam because I want to get his opinion on Alphonso Davies to Man United. What are you saying, bro?
Oh, sorry about that. I was driving. Yeah. So this is how I look at it. I disagree with one thing you said. If his agent's going around and saying it's going to cost 300K a week to sign him, okay. If Real Madrid, in my opinion, is saying like, yeah, we're just not going to because we don't have to because we can get players as good as you. And I'll explain my point here. I don't want us to break wage structure. I don't want us to get mercenaries. But Alphonso Davies, it's Davies, not Davis, by the way. For all you British people, I can correct the way you say it.
It's how Alphonso.
I know.
Sorry. It's Alphonso what? Sorry.
It's Alphonso Davies, not Davis. And I get it. Davies. That's how you say it. That's how you guys say it, Davies. But it's Davies.
Okay. Davies. Okay.
Yeah. So it's weird. Canadian.
We as British people have to mispronounce it like you guys do. That's crazy, but okay.
That's how it is. Okay, so here's the deal. Like, we've always wanted. You're always saying, like, we've always talked about best in class, best players, best in position. Arguably, obviously, he's had his injuries or whatnot. Alphonso Davies is the best left back in the world. Arguably, when he's on his pomp, like I can say that unbiasedly, and I think a lot of people would agree. When you think about the system that we're going to be employing, a big thing that he's always wanted is he wants to get further forward. He wants to be in the attack more, and that's exactly what he would be doing in our system. If it costs you $300,000 a week, if you do the quick math, that's around $62 million over a 4-year period you're going to spend for him. Kirkez will cost us probably $30 million to buy, or 20. I don't know what he's going to cost us, but $20 million to buy or whatever that player is going to cost us. If you put him on 80 to 100K a week, that's another $20 million expenditure. You're coming in around $50 million over a 4-year period for that player. Tell me, would you not rather spend an extra 10, 15 on an Alphonso Davies versus on Kirkez?
I agree. No, I made that point. I don't know if you heard. I agree.
Yeah, so your point with you don't want him to come in just for money, I agree with that. But if you've got an agent who goes out there and is saying the same way we got Euro, well, Real Madrid didn't want to spend it. They think you're not worth that. They're going to go get somebody else. This team values you at that price.
1 year left to spend 50 million. Bloody hell.
I don't care. We still got him, and he's still one of the best young players in his position. We don't know what's going to happen, but based on his positioning, you still spend that money. Again, I get it. You can be salty all you want, but we beat you to a player because you didn't value him the same way another team did. Plain and simple. So if we value Alphonso Davies more than Real Madrid does, and that gets us in,
go ahead. No, go ahead and take him because he cannot defend as well.
I don't care. I don't care about all that because that's not what our system needs desperately from that position. That's really
Real
not.
Madrid was going to shorthand the club we bought him from.
Yeah, so for me, if you do that, also now we get into financial commercially. This is where Ed Woodward was good, then we can't hate on for. If Alphonso Davies goes to United, Canada's the next 4 years, that's it. You own Canada. Like you literally the entire country. It doesn't matter who supports who. It doesn't matter. You will switch people. You will get an entire young fan base that only cares about him. Like our entire youth, everybody, the only player that we care about is Alphonso Davies. You will have that kid everywhere. The sales in Canada, it would be crazy. So you would recoup some of that as well from commercial value. And the same way, Tottenham does it with Son and Asian players, it's going to be no different. And I know we don't have a huge population, but that trickles down. So in my opinion, that would be the biggest signing of intent of where we're going or where we need to be. And I think the players in the locker room wouldn't be upset about him being paid a bit more outside of a wage structure because you're like Champions League winner, the guy's like the best in the world. Like there's a certain ilk that walks into your club that you show a certain level of respect to. And I think he would be one of those players. Now, if we don't get him, I don't even want Kirkez. I want us to just go get Alvaro back, which we should anyway, go buy him back because he fits the system and do it that way. But yeah, man, that's how I feel about it. I would, this is the one time because it's on the free. You don't have to pay a fee for him. You are going up against Real Madrid. If you need to pay a bit more, do it. That's just my feeling. I think he'd be perfect for us. Like it'd be a great
signal. They won't pay him that much money. I don't think that's.
Yeah, it's the only thing I disagree. I don't disagree with your overarching point you've made. The only time I don't want us to go too high is if we have to offer, if Madrid offer 200k and Bayern Munich do, and we have to offer him 300, 350 to turn his head. I don't want that. I don't mind paying the going rate for one of the best left backs in the world, but I want him to want to be here for more than just the money. As long as we, and by the way, I would trust the likes of, this is where having Dan Ashworth, having Wilcock, having Barada makes me more relaxed, is that I don't believe they would make the decision purely on the commercial side. That will be a factor in terms of how much we can afford to pay him, but I don't think they would do that. So I totally agree with you on that. And to get another player away from Madrid would be amazing. So just to wind down.
It helps offset it. That's the thing.
Hey, you ain't gonna win anything, even if you get him. I'm still gonna win stuff.
So for me, the way I look at it, dude, it's not that I'm saying for the commercial value we get him. It just helps offset that price, and you factor that in. And I think they would do that. And then just one more thing before I head out. On your Pep comment, I don't know, man. I just want to win stuff. So if Pep needs to go for that to happen, I'm okay. I get it. You want to beat the best to be the best, but Pep had his era. Let Pep move aside. He's got one more year. Let Emre do something next year, and then Pep get the fuck out. That's how I look at it. That's correct.
No, listen, I do hear you, mate. No, I do hear you. And I just sort of looked at it. My gut feeling was, he's staying. But then I just looked at it and thought, you know what? Let's have a go, mate. Let's go out there. Let's have a go. Let's try and do something and see what happens. Cam, I know you got to shoot, mate. Top man for calling in, brother. And I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, bro. Thank you. I've got a few super chats here. First one says, there's almost a whole season to go. Too many rivals allow tribalism to get in the way of proper discussions. Major injuries, tough fixtures. Chill. There is a long way to, and that's what I would say about having some of these conversations now. You know, if Liverpool in the next month lose a couple of games and Arsenal go on a good run, which is plausible, and they're suddenly 3 points behind, some Arsenal fans, and I don't think that'll be young Tommy, and I don't think that'll be Jason or whoever else, but there'll be some that will suddenly be like, "Oh, I'm so happy. I knew this would happen," and it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe just some of you, I think, should keep your powder dry. I said,
what's coming. I've seen what's coming season in, season out. So I know what the story is. We'll go on a good run, got like 10, 15 wins in a row. And then when it comes to crunch time, we fold like a pack of cards. That's it.
I hear you on that. I do hear you on that. Terry, Mo is a fraud. He said some different stuff on TFT and says different stuff on other channels about United. He said United not doing a new rebuild. He's just, you need to super chat this when he's on my show, though, bro. I can't say nothing when he ain't here. Do you know what I mean? You've got to come on TFT and put this in, but I will definitely hold on to that. I want to thank Isak as well for signing up to become a legend and super fan of the Football Terrace. It means a great deal. Sorry, Matt, you wanted to say something else that I wanted to run to you before I speak to the other boys.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to address the comment that I put on Fabrizio Romano's tweet. It was stupid, childish. And it should never happen again, really.
No, look,
and I want to apologize to you with all of that stuff on a certain other channel about the stream title and whatnot. I, for one, did not say anything for him to put that on there. He just decided to free will, pretty much.
Yeah, look. For me, that's it. All I asked on that day was like, you're not. All I said to you is that you don't represent the Football Terrace. So can you, like, I assumed that you went out there and said, "I'm Matt from the Football Terrace." You know, I mean it politely. All of you are great people on here, and I love you all to bits. But none of you are representatives of the Football Terrace. When you know what I mean. The thing that frustrated me about the Fabrizio comment is I don't know Fabrizio. I don't work with Fabrizio. But for me at the time, it was just I just thought it was there's a joke. And then there's calling someone that, and I just felt as though that
it's just childish.
But look, fair play to you, because it takes a real man to hold their hands up when they've done something wrong. You haven't doubled down, you haven't started attacking other people. So fair play to you for doing that. Why is the Arteta debate over? Again, I'm talking about the original debate. Hopefully you've seen it. Go back to minute 40 on here. Just scroll back and go through it on there, my friend. It was there. I don't mean having conversation about whether he should stay or not. I just mean the original debate. I think a line has to be drawn. But honestly, I'm at a point now where if I'm listening to somebody else's show and I hear from either side, do you remember when I said, or I told you, I'm like, straight away I turn it off. I can't listen. I'm just done. I'm like, oh, talk about the now, please. On that subject.
Can I also just quickly
these
say,
people
right?
in it, man.
Yeah, go on, Matt.
Oh, is that I do not think Arsenal fans should be having this Arteta discussions this season. I think we should be looking at our attackers not doing their job. Because if you look at our top goal scorers, Kai Havertz is on 7 goals, Saka's on 4, and then we've got a 17-year-old who's played 2 games. He started 2 games. He's on 3 goals, and he is third. Huh? No. It's not an excuse. It's more an attack on our attackers not doing their job. I don't think the blame should necessarily be on Arteta. I think the blame should be on our attackers, really, for not doing their job.
Yeah, but who bought those attackers?
Matt, can I ask you something, mate?
He decided to buy Kai Havertz. He was the guy who decided to.
He also scored 14 goals last season.
But that's fine. But again, is he going to be that guy to take you over the line? He's not easy. Look, he chose.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, but he chose to not buy a Saka replacement. He chose this summer to not sign a striker again.
We signed a Saka replacement, but he's not.
Who? Who's the Saka
Sterling.
replacement?
It's Sterling.
But this is what I'm saying. And he chose to not buy a striker this summer again. And now you're seeing all that you need.
Yeah,
he buys. If you're gonna buy these players, you have to stand on them, mate.
Matt, do you know what? Matt, do you know what I would say is this? I just think we have to be more mature about these conversations now. You can criticize the attackers and the manager at the same time. I don't think we have to. I don't think we have to live in this world where it's all on the manager and his system and nothing to do with the players. Equally, it isn't just always the play. Like, you have to look at some of the decisions from Arteta in terms of starting Moreno as the 10 versus Bournemouth as an example, continuing to start Trossard in games recently where he's been in really poor form, not giving Waneri enough game time as an example. So I think there is a combination here of blame, criticism, and constructive feedback that can be given across the board.
Remember when it doesn't work.
I do agree with that.
Terry, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course you can, mate.
Yeah, because I've seen on some of your show, you've put sometimes this Saliba and his links to my football club and all that. I wanted to ask you.
Well, there's rumors out. Yeah.
And I want to ask you, how much longer do you think he will be there before my club starts, knocking on that door, and then he can start changing his mind? In your opinion,
I think if we just look at Saliba in isolation, Gooners won't like this, but he looks like a Real Madrid player to me.
He does. He does.
He will go next season for me.
Yeah, I think it will be if Arsenal start winning the major trophies. Okay, then I think they might keep him for another 2 or 3 seasons. If they start winning the Prems and Champions Leagues now-ish. If this season and next season they pick up nothing, or just the domestic trophies, I think you'll see a massive bid come in, and there'll be very little that Arsenal can do to stop him leaving. But I think that's the same for, again, unless Arsenal go out and say Arteta leaves this summer and they go out and bring Alonso, and Alonso comes in and wins in the Champions League, wins in the Premier League, then you might see someone like Saliba stay for a longer period of time. However, I do think at some stage he'll end up at Real Madrid. He just gives me, when Man United had Cristiano Ronaldo, as soon as he was about 20, from about the age of 21, he'd been at our club for 2 or 3 years. I just knew. Gut feeling. I always knew, no matter how good he was for us. And by the way, we were in our pomp then. We were winning everything.
You were much better. Much better.
And we were still, there's certain players that I think, and I just think he'll end up there, but he will end up costing you. He'll probably be the world record fee for a centre back, in my opinion.
You know what it is? I think the reason you even kept Ronaldo even longer.
He left you in 2009. You guys were.
Yeah, but you know what it is? He actually stayed for that long in United because they kept winning stuff. I think
even
it
when Ronaldo was leaving, even when Ronaldo left you guys,
sorry, guys, Tommy,
you guys still had a good team when he left you in 2009. You were still winning. You're still winning trophies, man.
Tom, you've got a delay, so you start talking when somebody else has started. He's got a delay on his mic. Sorry, what were you saying there, Sam?
No, I was saying that I think you guys were you guys managed to keep him longer, like for a period of time, because you guys were winning trophies.
No, I agree.
I actually think that was a big factor as well.
Yeah, and for him, and also him and Fergie had a very, very close.
To at least delay the move.
He promised Fergie that one last season, and then said, "Give me that one last season, then you go."
Yeah, and I think most Arsenal fans, in their heart of hearts, feel that at some point Saliba will probably leave the club in the next 2 to 3 years. Everybody else, I'm not too sure of. Everybody else I feel like the rest of their current squad, they could be there for a considerable amount of time. There's no one that I'm looking at right now where you think, oh, he's going to go to, he's going to leave for a bigger club in the short term. I think the only other person that you could maybe look at.
Saliba's going when we don't win anything, Terry.
Fabregas and Van Persie.
No, I hear that. But I was going to. The only other player that could go in the next, maybe I think it would take at least 3 years from now.
Van Persie's and Nasri.
Tommy, you've got a delay, bruv. You leave us a comment in the private chat when you want to speak. Otherwise, you cut in through the middle of saying, "Oh, sorry, mate." But yeah, no, as I say, I think it's one.
Yeah, sure.
This comment here says, "Great show. Thank you very, very much indeed for tuning in, mate. I really do appreciate that." This here says the Premier League. Sorry, this says with Premier League games in a potential future could be international. Sorry, with Premier League games in potential future could be international singing. In the, do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Do you mean games being played abroad would add brand value? Yeah, no, yeah, but there's always brand values of players. It always has been. There always has been in relation to that. Look, I want to thank everyone.